Today on Variant, I give you all the long-awaited History of Gohan. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than I can't wait for the English dub of Dragon Ball Super. I'm your host, Arris. Longtime fans of our show know that I don't necessarily watch a whole bunch of anime, but there are two that I absolutely love. One Punch Man and of course, Dragon Ball Z. Actually, just the whole Dragon Ball franchise in general. I grew up running home after baseball practice to watch Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. I'd even get all the action figures from KB Toys and Suncoast in the mall. Man, I really miss those two stores. KB Toys and Suncoast were my jam. Anyway, we already did a History of Goku and Vegeta episode, so the next logical Saiyan to talk about is Gohan. Many of you have been asking for it for a long time now, and guess what? It's finally here. Gohan first appeared in the manga titled Kakarot, which is the 196th chapter of the Dragon Ball manga. He first appeared in the anime episode, A New Threat. Gohan is the oldest son of Goku and Chi-Chi. He's also the big brother of Goten. Then later on in the series, he married Videl and they had a daughter named Pan. But I'll get more into that later. What's really interesting about Gohan is that he's the first half Saiyan, half Earthling to show up in the series. And another little fun fact for you is that Gohan is named after Goku's adoptive grandfather. Now, even though Gohan's dad Goku is the best fighter out of all the Z fighters, Gohan doesn't really like fighting because he lacks the Saiyan fighting spirit. Don't get me wrong, he knows how to fight and is extremely powerful, but he will only fight when he needs to defend the ones he loves. Also, for those of you wondering, the Z fighters are a group of Earth's strongest warriors that were formed during Goku and Bulma's search for the Dragon Balls. With that said, let's get back to the start, talking about Gohan from the beginning, starting when he was just a little kid in the Saiyan saga. Gohan was born a year after Chi-Chi and Goku got married. Unlike Goku, who was pretty much raised to be a fighter, Gohan was raised as a student, putting education first, but he was eventually forced to become a fighter at a young age because of the Saiyan invasion. It all started when Gohan was kidnapped by Goku's long-lost brother Raditz. Goku of course tried to save him, but got the crap beat out of him by his older brother. When Gohan saw this, it pissed him off, and a secret hidden power within him awoke briefly, causing him to give Raditz a super powerful headbutt in the torso, which cracked his Saiyan armor. Raditz of course was eventually defeated, but was all like, hey, two more powerful Saiyans are on their way. We find out later that those were the Prince of the Saiyans, Vegeta, and his pal Nappa. After this, Piccolo was like, you know what, that power burst with Gohan was pretty crazy, so he started training him for the upcoming fight against Vegeta and Nappa. Flash forward a year when Vegeta and Nappa arrive, Gohan joins Piccolo, Yamcha, Krillin, and the others to fight them. Gohan fared pretty well against Nappa, but just as Nappa was about to destroy him with a blast, Piccolo jumped in front of it to save Gohan and died in the process. Goku would eventually show up, telling Krillin and Gohan to leave so he didn't have to worry about them during the fight. But Gohan comes back as he was worrying about his dad. Long story short, when Gohan returns to help his father, his Saiyan half emerges, transforming him into a great ape due to the artificial moon Vegeta made. Vegeta isn't too happy about this and honestly is a little scared, but he finds a way to cut off Gohan's tail, only to be crushed by Gohan as he falls mid-transformation. Badly injured, Vegeta gets back in his space pod and leaves Earth. But this brings us to the ever so popular Frieza saga. Speaking of Frieza, am I the only one who thought Frieza was a woman for a second back in the day? I'm sure I couldn't have been the only one. In the Frieza saga, Gohan, Bulma, and Krillin go to the planet Namek to use their Dragon Balls in order to bring back their friends to life who died during the war against the Saiyans. While there, they see Frieza and his goons slaughtering a village because they wouldn't tell him where the Dragon Balls were. Later, Gohan and Krillin eventually get their hidden potential unlocked by the ruler of Namek, the Grand Elder Guru, and even team up with Vegeta to fight Frieza's Ginyu Force. The three of them get their butts whipped by the Ginyu Force, but Goku shows up in the nick of time to give them Sensu Beans, which restores their health. A lot happens after this, like Captain Ginyu switches bodies with Goku, but he's defeated and Captain Ginyu is transferred into a frog's body, which is like Princess and the Frog, except not at all. I honestly don't even know why I made that reference. Anyway, Gohan and the others gather the Dragon Balls to wish Piccolo back to life on Namek. But once Frieza injures Piccolo, Gohan attacks Frieza out of anger, but he didn't really have any effect on him. After that, Goku eventually turns Super Saiyan for the very first time and orders Gohan to leave the battlefield. With his new power, Goku defeats Frieza because, you know, Goku. Now after the Frieza saga, we have the Trunks saga, but I'm gonna skip talking about it because not a whole lot happens with Gohan in that saga. It's very Trunks-centric, which is why I guess it's called the Trunks saga. It's where we're first introduced to future Trunks, and also find out that he's the son of Vegeta and Bulma, but I'll save all of that for a possible History of Trunks episode. This brings us to the Android/Cell saga. Now this saga has a whole lot going on, but since this episode is all about Gohan, I'm only gonna detail the points that affected him. Now this saga had an epic turning point for Gohan. It's where he reached Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 2 status. After Goku got over a heart disease, he trained with Gohan in the hyperbolic time chamber, where Goku helped Gohan turn into a Super Saiyan for the very first time. Gohan would spend the next several days before the Cell games transformed as a Super Saiyan to get used to the transformation. Once the Cell games started, he watched his father Goku fight in the opening round of the games, but Goku had a trick up his his sleeve. Knowing his son's destructive power when extremely pissed off, he forfeited the match, telling Gohan to take over. Initially, Gohan wasn't doing too well against Cell. In an attempt to get Gohan pissed enough to actually be a challenge, Cell births or poops out, however you want to describe it, Cell Jr.'s to put a beating on his friends. He even rips his friend Android 16 apart before killing him by stomping on his head. Gohan becomes so pissed off by this, it caused him to turn Super Saiyan 2. As a Super Saiyan 2, he easily defeated all the Cell Juniors and put a massive whooping on Cell. After this, Goku tried to get rid of Cell once and for all, but his plan failed. In the end, Gohan fired a Kamehameha wave at him, and with Vegeta's help, defeated Cell. This, my friends, brings us to the last saga for Dragon Ball Z, which is the Buu arc or the Majin Buu saga. We find Gohan 7 years after the Cell games. He's 18 and going to high school. He's also adopted the name the Great Saiyan Man, essentially becoming a superhero fighting crime. During his time as the Great Saiyan Man is where he first meets his future wife Videl. During this time, Gohan would also become Mystic or Ultimate Gohan. What this means is that Gohan's full power and potential is unlocked in his base form. He was able to do this after the Elder Kai performs a ceremony to unlock Gohan's inner abilities. After reaching this new level of power, he goes back to Earth to lay the smackdown on Majin Buu. Although he's still not the one to kill Buu. Goku is. Because, well, Goku. Now all this brings us to Dragon Ball GT, but Dragon Ball GT wasn't the best series in my and many Dragon Ball fans' opinion. But more importantly, it's not canon, as it's not based on the creator of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z's manga, Akira Toriyama. So I'm not going to get into all that since it's not canon and in real Dragon Ball continuity. But what is canon and in Dragon Ball continuity is Dragon Ball Super, as it's based off the creator Akira Toriyama's manga. Now I'm not really going to spend time talking about Dragon Ball Super either because it's still currently airing at the time of me shooting this video. And when I mean airing in Japan. We can only watch it online with subtitles in the US. So as of this episode, they are still releasing new episodes every week, so it's going to be a while before we get an English dub. As for Gohan being in it, he hasn't had anything super significant happen to him in the series, and unfortunately has become a running gag amongst fans about how lame he is now. Here's hoping that changes really soon, but the series overall is really good, and Goku Black is freaking awesome. But now it's time to talk about Gohan's transformations and power. The first one would be the Great Ape. This occurred when fighting Vegeta. A person of Saiyan heritage and with a tail achieves this by looking directly at a full moon, or at least something that simulates its effects, like Vegeta's Power Ball. Gohan only transformed into this state 3 times throughout the series, 2 times while he was training with Piccolo, and once when he was fighting Vegeta. Then of course we have Super Saiyan Gohan. Like I said earlier, he achieved this while training with his dad in the hyperbolic chamber. This form multiplies his power by 50 times. His energy manipulating abilities also increase. Like all Super Saiyans, Gohan's hair turns yellow gold, his eyes turn blue, and he has a yellow aura around him. Then we have Super Saiyan Full Powered. Gohan is one of the very first Saiyans to have full mastery over the Super Saiyan form. He learned to master this form when Goku suggested he remain in the form for long periods of time so that he could have complete control over it. So now he has full control over the energy output and consumption as well as the unwanted behavioral effects. In this full power form, his hair kinda looks like Goku's normal hair but yellow gold. Then we have Super Saiyan 2. Gohan was the first and the youngest in this series to reach this form on Earth. This form multiplies his power by 100. He momentarily reached it in the hyperbolic chamber due to emotional stress, but fully reached it when he fought Cell. While Super Saiyan 2, he has larger muscles. His hair stands longer, straighter, and spikier with one bang of hair over his forehead. And from time to time, he has a blue lightning field around his gold aura. Then we have Ultimate or Mystic Gohan, which I mentioned earlier. This isn't really a form like Super Saiyan 1 or 2. It's Gohan's full power and potential unlocked in his base form. You'll also notice that he doesn't look all that different from his normal form. In the Mystic state, Gohan can't transform into Super Saiyan 1 or 2, since his full power is unlocked and he has greater overall power than he would as Super Saiyan 1 or 2. It has also been said that in this form, Gohan is not only stronger than a Super Saiyan 3, but that he is also the strongest non-fused fighter in the Dragon Ball Z series. That is completely insane. And Gohan's power in this form is said to be on par with Super Buu, but he was outclassed due to the unique skills of Super Buu. It's basically the strongest form of Gohan that's in canon. As for some non-canon forms, you have Super Saiyan 3 that was seen in the Dragon Ball Heroes arcade game and Super Saiyan 4, which was also seen in that game. Now with all that said, clearly there's a lot more history and aspects to Gohan that I left out, from several of the movies and just little things in general. Talking about every single solitary thing would take hours, but I did do my best to give you all what I think is a pretty solid summary of the character. But now, you all know what time it is, it's reading recommendation time. It wouldn't be a History of episode without it. Read the entire Dragon Ball manga volumes 1 through 16 and the Dragon Ball Z volumes 1 through 26. You can also start reading some of the Dragon Ball Super manga, and lastly, but certainly not least, watch the Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super series. When you buy a domain name from domain.com, you get the power to influence and control what people find when they search for you online. No domain extension will help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and easy to use. The guys at Domain.com gave variants an awesome offer. Get 15% off Domain.com's already affordable domain names and web hosting when you use the coupon code variant at checkout. So when you think domain names, think Domain.com. So the awesome people at Comicave Studios sent me over this amazing Optimus Prime from Age of Extinction to review. And I gotta say, guys, I'm very excited to open this bad boy up because as you can see by the box, it is massive and I want to play with my new toy. So let's dive in. So it opens up like kind of like an Apple product. It kind of reminds me of like a massive like iPhone box, kind of. But here we go. He looks freaking cool, doesn't he? As you can see, we got Optimus here, and then all of his nice little accessories on the other side. So let's dive in. Wow, this thing is massive. Put that there. I like the interior art too. It tells you, like, gives you like a quick guide of, I guess, how to work everything. Easy now. Wow, this guy is massive. Look at that. This guy is a beast. He's over, I think, 15 inches tall or just over 15 inches tall. He's 50% die-cast metal, so he's got some weight. I think he's like 8 pounds, something like that, but he's a monster. His hands, like every single knuckle is like posable. Like every joint there, his thumb, everything. And he comes with swappable hands. So you can give him all kinds of different grips, and all the fingers, everything there is posable. And he's got weapons, just like in Age of Extinction. So we could put the sword, move that up. And he can hold the sword, but it gets better. He's also got a shield where you could pop right on like that. Super freaking cool. And just to give you guys like a size reference of this bad boy, I have a Comicave Studios Iron Man that's 6 inches. So look at the size difference. 6 inches, 15 inches. This thing is massive. I think that's actually one of like the coolest things about it, just how big and like imposing this collectible looks. It's really cool. There's also where his face, right here and here, let me take the weapons out as they don't get in the way. But he also comes with different face plates. So you could pop off his face, it's a magnet. You just go like that, like so. So that's like his, this is like his mouth face. But he's got like the battle mode one, which basically just looks like a flat plate or shield. And boom, now you have like a pissed off Optimus. And then if you don't want to be holding the weapons like I had earlier, there's this cool little back piece right here that you just pop off. Looks like a T. And he comes with a nice little piece right here where you pop it. Well, first you pop these two together. Then you pop that in there like so, turn that to the side, and you could put a sword in it. Just like that. And that's really freaking cool. Then you could put his shield back on if you want. You could also put the shield and sword on the back like this. Also, I have to mention, one of the coolest things I think on here, it's very subtle, but really cool, is that his eyes light up. So if you pop off the back piece of his head, just switch, boom. Now he's got blue eyes all lit up, and he looks really cool and just like menacing, ready to battle Megatron and whatnot. But yes, if you want this amazing Optimus Prime for yourself, I'm gonna put the links in the description on where you can buy this bad boy, because he's available right now, and maybe you can have him under your tree for Christmas. But he's a very great piece. He's huge. Again, this is a 6-inch action figure, 15 inches, massive. He'll look great on your shelf. I know he's going on my shelf like right after this. But yeah, if you like Transformers, you like cool collectibles, you definitely want to pick this guy up. First up for Wednesday, November 23rd, we have Teen Titans issue 2. Ra's al Ghul's forces make their move, but are Damian and the Teen Titans ready for such a threat? And finally, we have Batman Beyond issue 2. Terry is tested in a way he hasn't been since he's returned as Batman, in Joker's town to rescue Dana. And that brings another episode of Variant to a close. But remember, you can always like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow Variant on Twitter at Variant Comics or me on Twitter at Arris_Quinones. But I'll see you guys next week when we kick off Star Wars month. Man, am I excited.